Peace and happiness to all of you that are watching this video. So I'm going to show you a quick demo on how to activate Claude's writing skills so it can write an entire book for you, right? I'm talking about the entire manuscript, a complete book from the cover, right? So the book cover, as you can see here, and then the actual content itself, right? Now, this is all within Claude, right? As you can see here, here's a book, right? This is the book cover. And then here's the book, right? So this is the book right here. And then the table of content. So this is the entire book, right? The content, the table of content, right? And then you have the content itself of the book. So this was all Claude, right? So Claude wrote the entire book here. It designed the book cover. It came up with the content. It came up with the information, the detail, right? So everything within Claude. Now, I'm also going to show you how to upload it on Amazon KDP. So if you want to print the paperback, right, how to upload it on Amazon KDP. As you can see here, this is some of the books that I've already published. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you, I'm going to give you a demo, right? So I'm going to open up a new window, and then we're going to create, we're going to enable, or we're going to prompt Claude to write an entire book for us from scratch. Okay. Now, just before I show you that, now there is a skill that I created, right? It's called it's a workflow skill that I created. Let me show you the skill here. Now you can also get this skill. Where is it? Where's the skill? I'm just going to show you the skill. Okay, here it is. So here's the skill that I created. Now I'm going to leave the link below in the description section and also in the comment section. So if you want to grab this workflow that we created, you can go ahead and grab this workflow. So this workflow basically enables Claude to write an entire book for you, right? All you got to do is just give it a title, and then it will write the entire book from, formatting it, table of content, right? The detail, it will do all the research. It will create, or it will produce an entire book for you. But you do need to have the workflow system, especially if you're uploading it on Amazon KDP, because Amazon KDP has a very strict content guideline in terms of what books they allow to be published on their platform. So if you're going to use Claude to write any book that you're going to be publishing on Amazon KDP, you need to have this workflow that we created, right? Because without this workflow, your book is going to get rejected all the time, because this workflow basically has all the requirement that Amazon KDP is looking for, right? So the body, the back, the guidelines. So it passes the criteria, or it passes the guideline every single time. So as I said, this is a skill that we created. I'm going to leave the link below. It's going to be in the description section, in the content and the comment section. So if you want to grab this workflow system, so you can create an entire book from scratch. Okay. So now let's give you an example here, right? So now we're going to tell Claude, right, to write a book for us. So let's just prompt it. Hey, can you write a book about how to start a YouTube channel? Okay. So we're just going to give it that simple prompt, right? All right, so we're going to give it a basic prompt, right, to write our first book. So this is our first book. All right, so let's give it a prompt. Can you produce, or can you write a book on how to start a YouTube channel and monetize it? All right, so that's the name. That's the basic prompt, right? So we wanted to can you write a book on how to start a YouTube channel and monetize it? Okay. Can you write a book? Okay. So now I'm going to hit submit, right? Because it's going to ask for some follow-up questions. It's going to ask you, okay, is this going to be an ebook? Is this going to be a paperback book? Is this going to be, right? So it's just going to ask you for some follow-up question. Now let's see if it's going to ask us for a follow-up question. Can you write a book? Okay. So let's go submit. All right, so we're waiting for it to ask us some. We're waiting for it to ask some follow-up questions. Okay, so let's see if it's going to ask the follow-up question, or if it's just going to go ahead and write the book. Okay, so you see, so it's reading the skill, right? Because remember, I told you about the skill, the workflow that we created. So now it's retrieving that, or it's pulling that skill set. Okay, now it's supposed to ask us some follow-up question, but because I've written so many books and it already memorized my workflow. So I don't know if it's going to actually do that. If it doesn't, let's see here. King, I'll bid you this. Okay. King, I will build this as a KDP. Okay. So, all right. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So you see, here's the book title. Okay. So the book title is How to Start a YouTube Channel and Monetize It. Subtitle is Step-by-Step Guide to Building a Growing and Earning from YouTube channel. Okay. And then that's the name. That's who I am. And then it gives me the format. You see, this is why you need a workflow, right? Because it's telling you, okay, it's going to write the book, both the ebook plus the paperback. And then here's the format, 5.5, or this is the trim size. This is what you call the trim size. Because remember, you're writing a book so you can upload it on Amazon KDP. When you're uploading a book on Amazon KDP, you need to know your trim size, right? Your book trim size, and everything has to be formatted. So this workflow that I just created, as I said, the link is going to be below in the description section and also in the comment section, right? So we created this workflow specifically for this, okay? So now it's telling you, right? So this is the prerequisite. So it's giving you the overview, okay? So here's the book. Okay, let me write the full manuscript. Okay, length 150 pages. Okay, no, do I need 150 pages? Maybe not, right? Let's see here. I don't need 150 pages. So I'm actually going to stop the request. Cause yeah, we don't need 150 page. It says length anywhere from 120 to 150 pages. Now, should I just let it go or should I, yeah, let's see here. Cause okay, you know what? For the purpose of this video, I'm going to let it go. I'm going to let Claude AI write an entire book, right? The length is going to be anywhere from 120 to 150 pages. Okay. So now, as you can see here, right? It's, it's doing its thing, right? It's producing the book. So let me show you this. Actually, you don't really need to see all this because, right? The AI Claude is, right? This is, behind the scene, right? This is all behind the scene stuff. You just have to wait until the book is complete. So maybe I should pause it and then come back when the book is complete, and then I'll continue from there, right? In terms of the model, you can choose Opus 4.6 or you can choose the Sonnet model, Sonnet 5, right? Those are the two models that I usually use to write a book, either Sonnet 5 or Opus 4.6 in medium effort mode. Any other model, right? If you use Opus 4.8, it's going to consume a lot of tokens, right? So if you don't want to run out of tokens in that conversation or in that one chat, then either go with the Sonnet 5 or the Opus 4.6. I haven't had any issues with the 4.6 in terms of running out of token when producing an entire book from scratch, basically. So I haven't had that issue yet where I ran out of tokens or I ran out of credit usage, right? So, and I'm using the Pro plan, right? I'm on the Pro plan. So I don't have I had the Pro plan. So that's the basic plan. So that's the plan that almost everybody has, right? But the skill is very important, right? This skill here, right? Let me see here. Should I go here? Yeah, so you need this skill because you see, this skill, the KDP nonfiction book writer, it's a complete system. It's a complete system for writing Amazon KDP compliant nonfiction books and ebooks from idea to published ready manuscript. All right, handles all book types, workbooks, how-to guide, self-help, instructional, step-by-step resource. So these are the different types of books I can write for you, right? I can write business books, educational book, right? And then you see here's the workflow overview, or discovery, right? Understand the book concept, audience, format, and goals, planning, create a full outline, right? So this is a system. This is a workflow system. Once you have this system, then you don't need to worry about anything, right? Because this system knows how to comply with Amazon KDP's requirement, right? So their guidelines, it knows the format, it knows how to format it, right? It knows how to set up all the margin, right? The paper, because you see, Amazon has a strict guideline when it comes to uploading your book. Because if your book doesn't, if it doesn't adhere, if it doesn't pass their content guideline, then your book is going to get denied, right? Or it's going to get rejected. So what we've created is we created a workflow system that bypasses all that. So that way your paperback book always gets approved, right? And as you can see here, it's a very, it's very meticulous, extensive system, right? It's, it really gives you a lot of detail, right? As you can see here. So, as I said, I'll leave that link below in the description section and also in the comment section. While we're waiting for the book for the book to complete, you can also use Claude to design your book cover, right? Because Claude has this thing. They have a new system or a new feature called design, right? So you can use Claude to design your book too, right? So as you can see here, this book cover was designed inside Claude, right? So this is Claude design, right? So let me show you how to get access to Claude design. So if I go back, let me just open a new window. No, actually, let's go back here. Just go back, right? So let me go back one more. Just show you how to get access to that Claude, right? So this is the dashboard. This is the interface, the main interface. So if you click this little paint, right, icon here, this brush icon, it will take you to the design feature or the design section. And then from there, right, you can prompt it to create a book cover for you, right? As you can see, here are some of the book covers that I've created, right? Right. And yeah, so you can use Claude to design your book cover. And then you can also I use a platform called Higgsfield. I connected it to a platform called Higgsfield, and then Higgsfield designs. Well, Higgsfield is connected to with Claude AI. Okay, so now we're just waiting for the book to, let's see here, how far are we? I don't know if I should stop the video and then come back, but you know what? I'm just gonna let it run, right? Because I want you to see the entire process, right? I want you to see, right? So right now, okay, let me just, because you don't need to see all that. Let me see if I can just minimize that. Minimize that. Can I minimize that? Okay, let me see here. Let me show you, right? Is it gonna show you? Okay, so it's showing you. So it's doing all the coding. But you know what? We don't need to see that because you're not here for this, right? You're here for the final output, the final product. Okay, so we're just gonna exit that, right? You just want to see the file. Okay, so it's almost done. It's converting it to PDF, right? And then preview. So it's almost done. So remember, we just gave it a simple prompt, right? Matter of fact, it was actually a prompt. It was a question. Can you write a book on how to start a YouTube channel and monetize it? Right? And then it just automatically created the title, okay, how to start a YouTube channel and monetize it. And then it came up with the subtitle, author's name, that's me, right? Format, it's going to be ebook and paperback because we're going to upload the paperback to Amazon KDP, okay? And then the type, so it's a how-to step-by-step resource. Because remember I told you that the workflow that we created, right? This workflow here, or the system workflow, it has different types of books that it can create, right? It handles all book types: workbooks, how-to guides, self-help books, instructional books, step-by-step resource books, business books, educational book, planners, journals, and more. So if you want to create planners, or if you want Claude to write a planner for you, this workflow system has that capability, right? It has that knowledge baked into it. It has that, it has the detail, it has the information, right? This is a very extensive workflow. As I said, I'll leave the link below. It's in the description section and also in the comment section if you want to grab this workflow that we created, because this is going to save you a lot of time, right? Because it's going to bypass all of Amazon's requirement because it already has that built in. Okay, so our book is complete, right? Here's a book right here. It's ready. It took less than 10 minutes, right? So here's a book, complete book. As you can see here, the content, it came up with the content, right? Table of content, right? Here we go. Let me just maximize this. Now you've seen this in real time. I'm not editing this, right? This is in real time. So here's the content. So here's the book. Well, this is the book. This is the manuscript. So this is what we're going to be uploading on Amazon KDP. So how to start a YouTube channel and monetize it, step-by-step guide, right? That's my name. That's my publishing company. Okay. All right. And then the table of contents, introduction, right? All right. Now, the only thing that's missing right now is, because this is, let me see here. Okay. The trim size. Because the page numbers are missing, right? So I can prompt it again to tell it to write the page number, but I think this one is the ebook, right? So I can tell it, hey, you forgot to add the page numbers in the table of content. Let me see if it has it. Okay, it has it in the content itself, right? So here we go. So here's the entire book, right? Now, this is the first draft. Remember, this is just the first draft. If you're happy with this draft, then you can download it and then upload it to Amazon KDP. But I always say the first draft is for you to get an overview of the content, right? Of the detail of the book, and then read it, verify. If you're satisfied with the content, then you can go ahead and upload it. If not, then you can prompt Claude again to make some refinements, to make adjustments, right? Because remember, this is the first draft. It gave you an entire draft. So now you have something to work with, right? What you need to do now is you need to read the book, right? Or read the manuscript to make sure that the content is accurate, the content is relevant, right? The content is, it's insightful. It's useful, right? It's something that your audience can extract value from and implement it, and they can see, right? Or they can see results, right? So you got to read it through, right? So it gave you the first draft. So now from here, you can continue to make refinements, right? You can continue to do edits. So you can tell it, hey, can you change this? Can you add this, right? Can you remove this section? Can you right? Can you expand this section a little bit more? So basically from here, it's up to you. If you're satisfied with this first draft, then you can download it. If you're not satisfied with it, then you can just continue to have a conversation with Claude to make any other adjustments, right? But here's a manuscript that's ready for you to upload, because this one, I want you to generate a book cover. Okay, let's see here. Did they give it to me in? Okay, so let's tell it to generate the book cover. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna create it. Now let me show you how the book cover works, right? So let's create the book cover. Okay, now create the book cover, a single page book cover, front and okay. Let's see here. Let me copy that. Let's paste that. Create a single page book cover, front and back. Okay, so I wanted to create a single page book cover, front and back. I'm going to tell it to use GPT 2.0, right? Because remember, as I said, Claude is connected to a platform called Higgsfield, right? So I'm just going to go submit, right? So we wanted to create the book cover now. Okay, so now we have our manuscript. Okay. So now let's say if I'm satisfied with this, right? Because I wanted to do the tutorial to show you what Claude can do for you. It can write the entire book for you from scratch, right? And this is just the first draft, as I said. The first draft is for you to get an overview, to get an understanding of what the draft looks like. And then you can continue to iterate, right? You can continue to make adjustments and refinements and so on. So I'm going to download this, right? While it's working on the cover. So it's creating the cover, the book cover, right? Let me just see here. Yeah, so it's creating. So this is the company. I'm using an AI called, there's another AI platform called Higgsfield that does images and right. So I connected it with that, right? So see here, yeah, I'm just going to tell it to proceed. See, I'm doing this in real time, right? So you can see the capability that Claude has in producing an entire book from content to table of content, right? to a book that's ready for you to upload on Amazon KDP. So now let's go to Amazon KDP and we're gonna go and upload the book. Okay, so we're gonna go create new series. All right, we're gonna go paperback, create paperback. All right, what's the title? The book title is what? It's just how to start a YouTube. So I'm just gonna show you how to upload the book, right? I'm just gonna leave that optional for now. Right, you can enter the subtitle because they gave us the subtitle, author here, and then here you can just add the description of the book, right? Summary, or the summary of the book, and you can ask Claude to give you that summary. Okay, so here's our book cover. So it did. Okay, so here's our book cover right here. Actually, so it gave me, let me see here. The front cover is generating. Okay, the front cover art is generating the but. Okay, now let me build the full KDP cover front plus spine as print ready PDF. And listen, Claude handles the entire workflow for you. All you got to do is just you just need ideas, right? Because as you can see here, it created an entire book for us. It gave us the first draft. So now we're uploading it. Okay, here we're just gonna say testing for now, right? Because I just want to move forward so you can see. Okay, so yeah, I own the copyrights to this book. The primary audience, no, it's not explicit images. Here you can just leave it. You don't have to enter anything. Your primary marketplace, where are you selling? Canada, US, Europe. Then you can just choose your marketplace here. Choose a category. It's a business book. Right, so this is where you can choose your category, right? So I'm just going to choose any category for now, right? Because I just want to move forward. I just want to show you what could be done. So I'm just choosing. But here, make sure you're choosing the right category for your book, right? So whatever book you're writing, it has to be the right category, because you don't want Amazon KDP to deny or to reject that book because you chose the wrong category. So always make sure you select the right category that that it correlates with the content of your book, right? So make sure your book and the category that you're choosing matches. Okay, so let's go save category. And then keywords too. Yeah, so keywords is optional, but it's recommended, right? So always put in your keywords, right? How to start a YouTube channel and so on, so right? So the keywords are, and Claude can actually, you can just prompt Claude to give you the keywords. Okay, so here's the book cover. Okay, and as I said, this is also this is your first draft, right? So here's a book cover for you. So if you're not satisfied with this book cover, you can just prompt it to create it again, right? But for the purpose of this book, I just want to show you what Claude can do. So there, it just created the book cover for us. So as you can see here, what it did was it created the book cover. So this is the ebook cover, and then this is the paper book cover, right? So, okay. So there we go. So look at this. In less than 30 minutes, we have a manuscript, a book, a first draft book that's ready, that you can revise, you can review it, you can edit, you can iterate it, right? We have our book cover, and this is all first draft. As I said, listen, everything you see here, this is the first draft, first version. From here on, I mean, from moving forward, right? Now you have something, you have some substance, right? You have something visual, something concrete that you can, right? That you can adjust, or that you can review and play with, right? Or make any adjustments. So we have our book, the manuscript, right? It gave us the book in less than 30 minutes, right? So it gave us the first draft, the manuscript. It gave us our ebook cover, and then it gave us a paperback book cover, right? So I think I downloaded that. Okay, so now we're going back to Amazon KDP. Okay, we're gonna go save and continue. So in less than 30, let's see if we can upload this book in less than 30 minutes, okay? And then here, you always just click assign. You want Amazon KDP to give you a free ISBN number. So remember, when you're uploading your book, there's 3 steps, right? Step number 1, paperback details. You just enter that. this is step number 2 now, right? So this is the content. This is where you're going to upload the content. Okay. So here you're just going to click that every time, right? Get a free KDP ISBN number. So always you're just going to, okay. And then here you choose your right, paper interior, right? So I always go with black and white with white paper, right? Or if you can go with this one here, with this paper here, ground wood paper. It's cheaper, all right? It's way cheaper. You will see, right? And then our trim size. So remember our trim size, very important, right? Our trim size 5.5 by 8.5. If you have the wrong trim size, your book is going to get rejected, because remember, Claude gave us the exact trim size, right? 5.5 by 8.5. So when you're uploading your book on Amazon KDP, if you choose or if you select the wrong trim size, Amazon is going to see that there's a discrepancy. It's like, hey, you've selected this trim size, but the book that you've uploaded is this trim size, right? So that's why, as I said, the system that we created is very important, that workflow system, because the workflow system, it creates, right? It formats everything, so you don't have to worry about anything, right? So let's go back here. So you make sure that your trim size is correct. Here, it's always going to be no bleed, matte, right? So the paperback, I'm trying to do this fast, right? Maybe I should slow down, right? Because I'm trying to keep it under 30 minutes. So paperback cover finish, right? So you can choose matte or glossy, right? So we're going to keep it to matte, right? So now here, this is where you upload your manuscript, the book that, so here's our manuscript right here. Upload that. So this is the manuscript that Claude just produced for us, right? So there's the manuscript right there. So this is the entire manuscript. Remember, always want to read it, review it, especially if you are, if you're a subject matter expert in your field. Always review the content, right? Because you don't want to be publishing you don't want to be putting out a book that has inaccurate information. It doesn't look good on you as a subject matter expert. So always read the content of the book, always read it through, make sure that the information is accurate, the information is relevant, right? Because you don't want to ruin your reputation or tarnish your reputation by putting out a book and then the content is or the information is inaccurate, right? It doesn't match with your level of knowledge, right? So that's why reviewing the content, reviewing the book, the manuscript is very important, because it gave you the first draft. The draft is good, but now it's up to you. The content, you're the subject matter expert. You know your stuff. Read it through to make sure that everything is up, it's up to date. It's up to speed. Okay. So uploaded our manuscript. Our manuscript is complete. So now here, this is where we will upload a book cover. So now the book cover, you can use Amazon KDP's cover creator, or you can upload your own. So we were going to upload the one that the one that Claude just uploaded, right? Or the one that Claude just created for us. So let me see here. Let me see if I downloaded it. Yeah, I did download it. So this is our book cover. Okay. It's going to go. So it's uploading. All right. So we're just waiting for it to upload. Once the book cover is uploaded, you're going to see it here. So there we go, right? So remember, okay, so it's processing. So remember, the book cover, even the book cover is that was just a draft, right? Personally, I would not, right? I really don't like the book cover. I will prompt Claude to create another one, but I just wanted to show you that Claude can also design book covers inside, right? So, but for me, I will, right, if I was to publish a book, I would prompt Claude to make some adjustments and refinements, right? But I wanted to just show you what Claude is capable of doing. Okay, so we're going to go back here. Our book cover is complete. AI generated content. So this part is very important, right? Amazon is collecting information about use of artificial intelligence, AI tools in creating content. Did you use AI tools in creating text, images, and or translation in your book? Yes. All right. So always disclose this information because you use ChatGPT or you use Claude to create the book for you, right? So Claude wrote the entire book from scratch. We gave it the prompt. You're the subject matter expert, right? You're going to do some editing or some extensive editing, meaning that you're going to read the book. You're going to make sure that the information is accurate. But when you're uploading, you want to disclose that, yes, Claude AI generated the text, right? So here I always select it created the entire work, but I did extensive editing, right? Because as a subject matter expert, when I use Claude to write the book for me, it writes the entire book. What I do is I actually read the entire book to make sure that the information is accurate, right? So I do extensive editing, meaning that I read the book, I review the book to make sure that the information is accurate. So here, always put, right? Well, that's what I always select. I always select, right? It wrote the entire book with extensive editing. So, but it's up to you, right? So you can say it wrote some section. No, actually, you will not say some section with minimum. You will probably say either some. Yeah, actually, you know what? It's really up to you what you want to do, right? But just remember, always put yes here, right? And I always select that it wrote the entire book and I did some extensive editing. And then it will ask you which tools did you use to create the AI generated text in this work. I use Claude AI. Claude AI. Did it create any images? No, right? None. So the book cover doesn't count, or it doesn't constitute as a image, right? So here you just always put none. The book cover, right? So translation, none. Okay. And now we're going to launch. We're going to preview a book. See what it looks like. Okay. So our book. All right. So this is our book cover, right? So this is what your book cover looks like. And then here, it's always going to give you some detail. some information in terms of if there's anything that's missing, it's going to tell you, right? So always read this section here, right? If you don't see any, right? If you don't see any red line or any red square here, then that means you're good to go in terms of your book cover. So here, the book cover, as you can see here, this right here, it's not supposed to be in there because it's not supposed to be in there, this white space or this white barcode. So I can always just prompt Claude to remove it, right? But because I was just doing this tutorial quickly to show you what it looks like, then that's why you're seeing that there is a error here, right? So here, I can just check what the book looks like. So this is the content of the book. So this is what the book will look like, right? So there we go. So that's the table of content. All right. So this is the interior. This is what the inside of your book will look like. Okay. All right. There we go. So there we go. This is what the inside of your book will look like. There we go. And then you can just go through it and so on. So, right. So now, as I said, remember I said that this, right, the first book or the first version is always the draft version, right? If I go back here, as you can see here, it tells you the number of pages. So here is only 66, but Claude, we told Claude, well, Claude mentioned that it was 120 pages, but here it's only 66. So I can just continue having that conversation with Claude and tell it, hey, can you extend it to, 100 pages, right? Because here Amazon is telling us it's only 66 pages, right? So it's only 66 pages. Let me see the font. Just want to see something here. Yeah. So here we have our book cover. So everything is ready to go. And once you are satisfied with the output, then you just go approve, right? But this here needs more work. But as I said, remember, I'm just doing this tutorial quickly to show you what it looks like, right? Because usually when I'm writing a book, as I said, the first draft, it doesn't take that long, but then I'll read it through and then make any other adjustments. Okay. So, let me exit the previewer. Okay. And then once you're satisfied with everything, you just go, the next step is to publish it. Now, before you publish, always request for a book proof first, right? So request the book proof which is, you know, you will get the physical copy of the book of what it looks like. So always request the proof copy before you publish anything. Right. So that is because the proof copy, they will send you the actual paperback. So that's the paperback that customers are going to get when they purchase your book, right? So I always request a proof so that way I can see it. I can see the physical copy. I can actually read it and, you know, and then write on it. So if I see if there's any error or if anything that needs to be corrected, I can just make the correction on the actual paperback book. Depending on where you are, country, location, it could take anywhere from 2 to 3 business days, right? And if you have Amazon Prime membership, it can be even faster, right? So you can get the proof copy within, I say, 3 days max, right? So 3 days max. So once you get your proof copy, then once you read it, and then you can come back. So let's say if I save this as a draft, I order my proof copy, then I can, once I get my proof copy, then I can just come back here and then continue with the publishing. So if I go save and continue, so that will be the last step. Okay, something's missing here. Please review and approve. Okay, yeah. So because I haven't approved the book yet, it does, it will not enable me to continue, right? So once you're satisfied with the output here, so if I go back here, all right, so if I go back here, once I'm satisfied with this and then the content, then I can just go approve, and then yeah, and that it would take me to the next page. But the purpose of this video is to show you that what Claude can do, right? Remember, the first draft is just an overview, right? The first draft is, the first version is for you to have something concrete to work with. So now you have something concrete to work with. Now you can build with this. So you have the content, right? So I will not publish the first draft as is, because you got to read it through. You need to make sure that information is correct, that everything is aligned properly, right? So you want to make sure you're checking it, because as you see here, I noticed that the page numbers, the chapters are there, but the page numbers are not showing. So I will just reprompt it again and say, hey, can you include the page numbers in there as well? Okay, so I think I'm going to end it here, right? Hopefully you got the, you got the basics of it on how to enable Claude to write a book for you, right? We started with just a basic prompt. Can you write a book on how to start a YouTube channel and monetize it? And then Claude gave us, the work, the steps that it was going to take. So it came up with the book title, came up with the subtitle, right? The format, ebook and paperback book. It came up with the trim size, the length of the pages, and it knew what type of book it was going to be, right? So it's a how-to book. And as I said, that's why we created a workflow. The workflow system, it has all that embedded in there. So you don't need to worry about the trim size, right? It will just ask you some follow-up questions, okay? What type of book do you want to write? Is it and then see, just some follow-up questions. This is going to be the follow-up question. Before writing a single word, gather this information from the user, right? So you're the user, right? So it's going to ask you for some follow-up question. What is the book's topic and core promise to the reader? Okay. Who is the target audience? Beginner, intermediate, professional. What format? Ebook only, paperback only, or both? Desired length, right? 50 to 80 pages, 100 to 180 pages, or comprehensive 200 plus pages, right? And then book type. Workbook, is it a workbook, how-to book, self-help book, instructional book, business book, educational, or planner? All right. So this is the follow-up question that Claude is going to ask you before writing a single word. Now, in my case, because I've written so many books, it's like it memorized my workflow, right? Or it memorized my, the way I work. So it just knew exactly the length of the book, right? It knew the format because I've written so many books. But as a beginner, once you, right, as a beginner, right, when you're writing your first book, it's going to ask you for these follow-up questions first, because it needs to, get some details from you first, right? So what is the book's topic? The core idea, right? Who's the target audience? what format you want to write it in, the desired length. Now the minimum page count that you can upload on Amazon KDP is 24 pages, right? So the minimum page count is 24 pages, meaning that if Claude is creating the book for you or is producing the book, the minimum page that you want to have is 24 page, right? Anything less than 24 page, Amazon is not going to accept that. Okay. Okay. So listen, I'm going to end it here. Make sure to like the channel, subscribe, because I have more content coming up. And then, as I said, I'll leave the link below to our workflow system. For those of you that want to publish your own books, the workflow system is going to be in the description section. So this is what you're going to be getting, right? You're going to be getting the complete system for writing Amazon KDP compliant nonfiction books and ebooks. So this is what the system looks like, right? Now, I do have a video showing you how to upload it. Very straightforward, right? It's included in the system. Once you purchase it, then you see there's a video showing you how to upload this, right? And all you got to do is just upload, and then that's it. Once you upload it inside Claude, then Claude is going to automatically include that in the workflow. All right. So listen, I'm going to end it here. I'll see you all in the next video. I am out. Peace.